guys had a fun and safe 4th of July yesterday afternoon. Everybody came in with 10 fingers and toes and left with 10 fingers and toes. Got to shoot off some fireworks, have some good food, all those wonderful Americana things. We are going to talk some sports today, but we're also going to have some fun today on the show in the spirit of the holiday. I've got some fun baseball 4th of July trivia and just some 4th of July trivia in general. How many hot dogs do we typically eat on the 4th of July? What's the most popular food to get eaten on the 4th of July? Who's hit the most home runs on the 4th of July? All kinds of fun trivia type things that we'll get into in the spirit of the holiday. We also have some serious stuff to discuss. The NBA Finals have been decided. Milwaukee and Phoenix tip off tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. We will talk about that later on tonight. And then also there's some news from last week that we've just got to get through. We are going to spin all around all kinds of different teams around the city. We're going to talk about the Cubs, the White Sox, and the Blackhawks in the opening segment. Some all-stars to congratulate, and a team that I think it is time to bury. All that and more coming up here on Chi-Town Weekly. Buckle on up. Let's have some fun. And once again, welcome on into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Thank you to Gina for starting our Monday off right. She was talking all about NorCal sports. If you have an interest at all in things going on out in the Bay Area, and tonight in particular, there's stuff to pay attention out there as the Giants are getting ready to host the Cardinals for the next few days. So Cubs fans in particular want to keep an eye on that. You want to keep track of all things Northern California sports. Be sure to check out Gina every Monday night, 1 hour before our show over on Reppin' to NorCal Sports. So thank you to Gina. An excellent job tonight. Before we go any further with our show, we do need to mention our sponsor, the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you have been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California_Warriors, or Facebook by searching Southern California Warriors. And, of course, IE Sports Radio, we're out there on all the major social platforms. Same handle pretty much across the board, at IE Sports Radio. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, and by searching Facebook for those things. You can also go to our website, www.iesportsradio.com. I know Larry is hard at work at kind of giving the website a little bit of a facelift and an upgrade there. There's going to be stuff from our different hosts and different shows. You can learn more about us and everybody else involved here at IE Sports. Mental note to myself, I need to get my stuff done for my page on there, but we'll get to that all in good time. So that is how you can keep up with the network, and then ways to keep up with this show. This show is on Twitter. I am on Twitter. You can keep up with the show at IESRC. Or if you want to follow along with my personal Twitter feed, that's at Adam_Karnick. And then ways to interact with the show. If you are listening live here on Monday nights, please feel free, hop on into that Spreaker chat room, make it a little account for yourself. There's no charge, no cost. You're not going to get spammed with a million emails. Log on into the chat and we can have some fun back and forth there. I see Taryn and Pierre and Gina are all there. Good evening and hello everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Or if you just want to sit back and listen to my voice and curse me out in the darkness, that works too. Just whatever floats your boat for you. I am here for it. No matter what, we are talking sports in the best city to do so in the entire U.S. of A. All right, so now I've done a good job of using up about 6 minutes of the show here to get started. Let's actually dive in and talk about some of the issues at hand. First of all, I wanted to give a congratulations to all of the fresh All-Stars, the members of both the Cubs and the White Sox that are going to be representing Chicago in the All-Star game coming up at MLB. A lot of pitchers out of this group. Out of the 5 players, we've got 4 pitchers from the White Sox: Liam Hendriks, Carlos Rodon, and Lance Lynn. And from the North side, Craig Kimbrell and Chris Bryant, making it. Congratulations to those guys. Don't really have any complaints there. I'm not shocked at all that for the White Sox, it's pitchers. 2 out of that starting 5 rotation are in there. Rodon, once you throw a no-hitter, that's pretty much going to get you into an all-star game, even if you're not starting straight out of the gate. Lance Lynn has been just such an outstanding veteran presence there for the Sox this season, and Liam Hendriks has been nothing if not lights out as a closer this year for the South Side after coming over from Oakland last year. So good to see those guys making the All-Star game. Rodon especially making his first appearance in the All-Star game. And then for the Northsiders, Craig Kimbrell. What a switch from how he came to the Cubs a few years back. After those first few opportunities when he was giving up home runs left, right, and center, you never would have thought, oh yeah, this guy's going to be appearing in an All-Star game sometime before he's done in Chicago. And here he is in 2021 making an appearance. And Chris Bryant, what can you say about Chris Bryant? He's having an MVP season. We're off in June. The whole team had a rough month of June. We'll get into that here in just a moment. But Chris Bryant has been lights out this season and playing just about every single position on the diamond. He has played all 3 outfield spots. He has played both corner infield spots, and he has spent a little bit of time at second base. I don't know what position they're going to play him at in the All-Star game. I did not see what position he officially made it in at, because he's played all over the diamond this year for the Cubs. So congratulations to those guys. Very deserving. All 5 of them. No questions or concerns there. Great job for those 5 guys. Before I get too much into the Cubs, I do have Cubs. I see Taryn in the chat wanting to know what's going on with the Cubs. Before I get into that, because I'm going to spend a lot of time on them here in a second, I did actually want to slide over to the Blackhawks just for a moment. It's July, and this is now 3 weeks in a row that I've talked about the Blackhawks. Odd situation, but it's slightly better this time. We're not talking about serious scandals or problems with coaches or players. We're talking some great news. Jonathan Toews released a video last week stating that he is intending to come back for the 2021-2022 season. You may recall he missed this entire past season, and he was very, very guarded about why. All he let be known out there was that he was not in hockey shape for one reason or another, and speculation was rampant from anything from, oh my goodness, he's not going to, he's lost the desire to play, all the way to he's got terminal cancer and he may not make it. It was running the full gambit, and he finally felt comfortable enough to put it out there that what he is suffering from what his doctors are calling chronic immune response syndrome, which effectively he described it as any kind of pain he was experiencing was just being magnified, doubled, tripled, quadrupled in intensity, to the point where just he couldn't play on the ice. Any little thing would cause him intense pain, and he wasn't going to be able to. He just wasn't going to be able to play on the ice. So he missed the entire season. He is planning on coming back for next season. It seems to have subsided somewhat. Doctors don't really know how to solve it or cure it or anything like that, but at least he's in a position now where he's not going to be, he feels he'll be comfortable playing hockey next season. I did think the timing of the announcement was a little suspect. It came with a team release, obviously what had been a produced video, because it had different highlights and cuts, and obviously there had been some editing and production work done on it. It wasn't just Taves talking into his personal cell phone and putting it on social media. So the cynic in me does think that the team released this just to try to get attention away from all the legal troubles that they are going through right now. But still, it is good news to see that Jonathan Taves is hoping to be back next season, and we'll have hopefully see some good things from the captain there next season. All right. We have to bury a team tonight, I think. Cue the funeral march. I think this era of Cubs baseball is over. Taryn alluded to it in the chat, that the Cubs have not looked the same since they had their no-hitter against the Dodgers. No, they have not. You hear sometimes about how a pitcher, after he throws a no-hitter or a perfect game, will struggle his next month or so's worth of starts. Well, apparently when you have when you have the staff combined for a no-hitter, that effect then gets magnified onto the whole team, because the Cubs have not won a game since then. They have dropped 9 straight games, losing the final 3 of a 4-game set to the Dodgers, getting swept out of Milwaukee, losing in epic fashion, especially in the final game out in Milwaukee. And then the cherry on top was going to the Great American Ballpark over the weekend and getting swept down in Cincinnati. I think it's time. The Cubs are now exactly 500. They are starting a homestand tonight. The first pitch here is in a little less than an hour, hosting the Phillies. Which, if you want to follow up on that series a little bit, you can catch Philly Sports Talk tomorrow evening. They will be giving you the Philly side of things of that matchup. Actually, game 2 the second game of the series will be going on while Chris is doing the show, so you can kind of get some live feedback from them. And I know the Phillies are struggling a bit this season. The Cubs, 9 losses in a row, knocks them back to 500. They are currently in 3rd place in the National League Central. I'm double checking that right now because, gosh, that just sounds so bad. They were leading the division, not with necessarily, an exhale type of lead, but they had a multi-game lead in the division, and now, yes, they are 3rd place in the National League Central, and they are 8.5 back of Milwaukee. 8 back on the loss column. I think I cannot see at this point there's lots of reasons that it's happened. Obviously, injuries have taken a toll to everyone this season. The Cubs have been no exception to that. They did get Nico Horner finally back yesterday after his collision with Ian Happ a couple months back in the outfield. They finally got him back. But, I mean, you're still – guys like Matt Duffy are still gone. Ian Happ has been out a good chunk of the year. And when he hasn't been hurt, he hasn't been hitting the ball well. They've just really struggled. You saw the front office's intention at the beginning of the season when they traded away Yu Darvish and when they declined to tender Kyle Schwarber an option. And congratulations to Kyle Schwarber as well on getting named to the National League All-Star team. His first time actually making the All-Star team. He had himself an insane June. If you missed it, he had 15 home runs in the month of June, set a new Washington club record for home runs in a month. Congratulations to Kyle Schwarber, very deserving all-star selection there. You saw the front office's intentions there with trading away Darvish, with not expecting to, with just deciding not to pick up Kyle Schwarber's tender and letting him walk for nothing. That the front office was expecting to not necessarily to try to set up to not be terribly competitive this season. And I've ranted about that many a time. I don't need to necessarily get into that again now. Suffice to say, I don't like it. That's the short and sweet and simple. You're the Chicago Cubs. You're a big market team in a big market city. Money should not be an object for the Cubs. This is going to be different, though. You have, of course, all these guys that are about to come out of their agreements, come out of contract. Guys like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, closer Craig Kimbrell, that you could potentially lose this offseason and get nothing but compensatory selections back. It makes all the sense in the world to see what you can get for these guys. I hate saying it. I want the Cubs to be competitive. June was a rough month. They played tough teams. Don't get me wrong. They played the Dodgers. They played the Padres. They played Milwaukee. They played good. They played the Mets. They played tough divisional teams. But it proved the point, too, that this is a team that's not... Those are the teams you're going to see come October. And come the playoffs, if the Cubs... Let's say, for example, the Cubs decide to go for it one more time, and now we've got enough that we think we can still win this division, that... the Reds aren't for real and Milwaukee's a mirage. We'll be able to catch these guys. We'll be able to make up this 8.5 game deficit. We'll be able to come back and win this division and make the playoffs. Okay, great. Then what? You're going to wind up... Guess what? You're going to play the Mets. You're going to play the Dodgers or the Padres or the Giants. You're going to meet... You're not going to face, obviously, the Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers. You're not going to see... all three of them in the playoffs, but you're going to see one for sure. One of those three you're going to run into, probably two. And you've already shown that outside of Wrigley, you're not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with them. You're not going to have home field advantage in the series against any of those three teams. Certainly not in the NLCS. You're not going to wind up with home field advantage against whichever of those three teams you face in that scenario. Maybe if you catch, maybe if the numbers line up correctly and you wind up getting the winner of the wild card game, and just for sake of argument, it's the Giants. We'll just say it's the Giants, and the Cubs get home field advantage in that series. They're able to take advantage of it. Okay, fine. But then you get into the NLCS, you're not going to have home field advantage. You're not going to get past the Dodgers. You're not going to get past the Padres. you're not going to get past the Giants if you don't have home field advantage. So I understand selling at this point. It pains me to say it. I threw a poll out there yesterday to Cubs fans. Who do you expect to be the first domino to fall if Hoyer indeed starts selling? I expect it to be Kimbrel. Just the position there, closer. That's somebody, that there's going to be a team that, and maybe it's the Padres, maybe it's the Giants. I'm not sure. Taryn or Gina, one of you two could clue me in on what their bullpen situations look like there and how they're feeling with their current closer. Kimbrel's having obviously an all-star campaign to this point. It's a good chance he could be an upgrade. Maybe you send him out to New York to the Mets. You can get and get some pieces there. I'm a huge Chris Bryant fan. I love Chris Bryant. I want Chris Bryant to be a Cub for life. I think they're going to trade him, though. I think that's what's going to happen, and it's going to hurt. But unfortunately, at this point, I think it's going to be the right thing to do because you could get some pieces back for him because Bryant has shown, hey, anywhere you plug him defensively, first of all, he's not going to be a liability, and second of all, his bat is still going to produce regardless of the position you put him in. That's going to have some trade value. You look at any team across baseball that, hey, we're competing, but we feel we could use an extra bat at name a position. Oh, look, Chris Bryant's available, and he'll be able to plug in that hole and be the bat at that position we need. So at this point, I'd be shocked, especially if Kimbrel and Bryant don't wind up getting traded before the trade deadline coming up here in just a few weeks. I mean, we're less than 4 weeks out from the trade deadline. I suspect that it's going to happen. It's been rough for the Cubs these last couple of weeks. And we will see. We will see what happens. But I think it is time to say farewell to this era of Cubs baseball. We'll see what's in store for them next. But I think this is indeed it. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, there's some championship basketball that is about to tip off here in about, what are we at? 25 and a half hours away. We are going to talk some NBA Finals next. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome to the Soccer Scoreboard Show with your host, Gabriel Montoya. This is the show for soccer, football fans, or whatever you call the beautiful game. Every week, I tackle the latest and greatest news from around the soccer world. From the English Premier League to the World Cup to MLS, Liga MX, and more. You can listen to the Soccer Scoreboard Show and our lineup of fantastic guests every Friday at noon here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well then, you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Law.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We are going to be talking about the NBA Finals coming up here in just a minute, though I simply cannot let this pass without some comment. Taryn in the chat is having some fun here at the expense of the Cubs. He rewrote their song lyrics for them from "Go Cubs Go" to "No Cubs No." Oh, Taryn. You're not the first one to do it, though. I'll give you credit. You came up with some clever lyrics there. So kudos to you there. That's all right. We'll come up with something there to get you there in SoCal. I'll have to come up with something for maybe something for the Chargers for a future episode or something. We will. Yeah, I know. You've been talking about doing one for the Bears for a while now. I see a further chat there. We'll have to get back to that on a later date. But clever there, Taryn. All right. So, over the weekend, we got the NBA Finals set and delivered. We know who we're getting. The Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. This is the matchup that every hardcore NBA fan has been dreaming of for years, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all if half the people tuning in starting tomorrow night go, Phoenix and Milwaukee? I didn't know they had NBA teams in those cities. But sure enough, here we are. Game 1 tips off tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time. Phoenix has the home court advantage, so they will host games 1, 2, 5, and 7. Then the short trip from here north up to Milwaukee for games 3, 4, and 6. Let's take a look at these two teams. So the Phoenix Suns, who did they have to take out en route to the NBA Finals? They took on they were Los Angeles Killers in the playoffs. Took out the Lakers in the first round. The Phoenix, a step back there before we get too much further. The NBA playoffs, especially, but the NBA as a whole this year, there's been a lot of injuries that have been decimating all the teams involved, all the parties involved, and the playoffs have been brutal. Phoenix definitely benefited from that a little bit. I don't want to take anything away from the Suns at all. They had to beat the Lakers. They had to beat the Nuggets. They had to beat the Clippers. They still had to win each of their series to get to where they are. But Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis. LeBron James, way less than 100%. Denver Nuggets, Denver didn't have its star Jamal Murray in that round. And then the Clippers in the final, the Clippers didn't have Kawhi Leonard, their superstar player. The Suns are coming in healthy. They're one of the healthier teams in the NBA playoffs this year, and they're getting fortunate again on the injury front now that they face Milwaukee, because Milwaukee, there's a good chance that the Milwaukee Bucks won't have two-time league MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. He got hurt in the Eastern Conference Final against Atlanta in Game 4. Missed the last 2 games of that series. The Bucks still made it on without him, but obviously that's going to affect things going into this series. The Suns are definitely benefiting from being relatively healthy and catching some teams at the right time. Catching the Clippers without Leonard, catching the Lakers with Davis down, catching the Bucks without Giannis. Phoenix did win both games this regular season. Both games were close. They were 1-point wins both times around. So take that for what it's worth. So a lot of new blood in these finals, not just the new cities, not just Milwaukee and Phoenix. Phoenix, this is for the Suns, this is their first trip to the NBA Finals since '93. They went up against Jordan's Bulls. That was the year John Paxson won the NBA Finals, hit the buzzer beater that got Paxson all the way up to the effectively the GM seat of the team, and he became one half of what affectionately became known as Garpax, and we all laughed at them for their front office decisions. But that's the last time Phoenix was in the NBA Finals. Almost 30 years ago. The Bucks, it's been 50 years since the Bucks last made the NBA Finals. So you've got two very new cities to the NBA Finals. You're talking 30 years ago is the more recent of the two. Only one championship apiece between these two teams. That belongs to Milwaukee. But again, you're talking that was, that's close to, many, many, many years ago. 50 years ago now. That Milwaukee won its only championship. Phoenix has never won the championship. Both teams, just 3 NBA Finals appearances to this point. Good evening, Amanda. Hello. I believe that is Amanda, the host of our Frozen Takes show. She's catching it. If that's the case, she's probably tuning in between pitches of the White Sox and Twins game that's going on right now. You can catch Amanda talking all things Minnesota sports on Thursday evenings here on IE Sports Radio. I was very excited to see that we have a Minnesota show. My wife is originally from Minnesota, just about an hour south of the Twin Cities, so that was kind of exciting to see that we have that. So good evening to you, Amanda. We're talking about the NBA Finals real quick now that we know who the two teams are, and it's two teams that aren't used to being on this stage. Not only are the cities not used to being on this stage, there is one player on both rosters combined that has played in the NBA Finals before. Jay Crowder, now on Phoenix, was a member of the Miami Heat last year and played in the NBA Finals in the bubble last year against Philadelphia. So only one player on either roster, and neither head coach has been in the finals in this capacity before. So a lot of inexperience. For the Suns, one of the big talking point stories that's going to be for this NBA Finals is that Chris Paul, longtime NBA veteran, been bouncing around team after team after team. He's now playing in the NBA Finals for the first time. And I had thought, that could turn into something. He's a terrific veteran player, but everything's different when you get to the finals. But then you see that everybody's new to the finals this year. I don't think that Chris Paul's lack of experience in the NBA Finals then will be any kind of a hindrance to him. Another notable name for us, for Bulls fans, Cameron Payne is now in the NBA Finals after having a rough to say the least stint in Chicago. He now gets a chance to shine on the biggest stage with the Phoenix Suns. So good for Cam Payne. I see, and Gina's chiming in. She's rooting for Milwaukee in this series because Chris Paul plays for the Suns. Hey, whatever you need, every series needs a good villain, and Chris Paul, if he does that for you, Trae Young to me would have been such an obvious and easy villain. He is turning into a fantastic guy to watch in the NBA who has got the stuff, has got the game to back it up, and has no problems showing you some personality even when he's on the road. So Trae Young would have obviously fit that role of series villain very well, but I think Atlanta will have some opportunities here later on. But now we get Milwaukee and we get Phoenix. This is going to be just an interesting series to go around. Milwaukee, even with Giannis, and notice I'm not attempting his last name again. I got as close as I was going to get the first time. I'm not trying that name again. He is forever and furthermore until I get a chance to practice it hardcore. He is Giannis. Even with Giannis potentially missing, heck, it could be the entire series. I think they haven't announced, obviously, who's in or out for Game 1 yet. I would be not surprised at all to see him miss Game 1. There's still going to be some fantastic talent there on Milwaukee. Guys like Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. You're going to see some guys that are still going to be able to carry the team for a little bit. They went absolutely off in Game 6 in Atlanta. That was a tight game until the third quarter when Milwaukee just could not be stopped from three-point land and just put the thing away. Got up by as many as 20 points. Atlanta did good just to come back and make a game of it. Got it down to single digits in the end there, but still it was too much to overcome. I think I see Taryn taking Phoenix in 6. I feel going into this series, a long series, a 6 or 7 game series, I think is going to benefit Milwaukee because that gives Giannis more time to come back. The longer this series goes, the greater chance you see Giannis make a comeback, and he's a 2-time league MVP. Not that anybody on Phoenix is a slouch by any means. You know, you're talking Devin Booker, you're talking Michael Bridges, guys that are certainly going to be capable of scoring at any time. But I think the longer this series goes, the better chance you'll see Giannis come back from Milwaukee, and I think you'll see the tide kind of turn towards Milwaukee a little bit. So if this is a 4 or 5 game series, I feel that favors Chris Paul and the Suns. If this is a 6 or 7 game series, I think that's going to benefit Milwaukee. Now watch, I say that and I'll be completely wrong, but hey, it's not the first time in my life I'll be wrong, and it won't be the last. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch some playoff basketball. I can only hope that the Bulls will be making some kind of playoff appearance here in the near future, but that will be a story for another time. All right, we are going to take one more break, and then when we come back, it was the holiday yesterday. I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. We had a very interesting 4th of July here at Casa de Carnic. Eventually, all's well that ends well. I'll just kind of leave it there for our 4th of July adventures from yesterday. But any holiday is a good time to just kind of kick back and have some fun. And for me, that means let's talk about some silly trivia. So we're gonna take a look at some sports trivia for 4th of July, and then also just some 4th of July trivia when we come back from the break. During the break, especially those of you in the chat room, and I love seeing everybody in here tonight, I want to know what were your favorite things that you got to either eat or make or just enjoyed food-wise over this awesome 4th of July weekend. Let me know in the chat, and we will be right back after a quick break. This is Chi-Town Weekly on IE Sports Radio.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we're be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development. But we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest owners. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with a list of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the colleges, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Before we wrap up the show real quick, of course, we need to give one more shout out to our sponsor, the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California _Warriors, or find them on Facebook at Southern California Warriors. And thank you to the Warriors, as always, for being our sponsor this week. It certainly does help to keep the lights on and allows us to do all the awesome, amazing shows that we are able to do here on the network. So, I hope everybody had a fun and safe 4th of July holiday yesterday. Before we get out of here tonight, I wanted to kind of have some fun on the show and just tie in the two, 4th of July and sports a little bit. For team sports, of course, that means baseball. That's really meaning MLB. MLB put out a cool story yesterday. Anthony Kostrovins put out a neat piece on MLB.com yesterday, just highlighting some of the more memorable moments of 4th of July throughout MLB's history. The biggest one is, of course, the one to start with. It was on July 4th, 1939, when Lou Gehrig officially left the game. In between, he had a speech. I believe it was in between double headers of a game that day. It's become known as his "I'm the luckiest man in the world" speech. He officially let the world know he was suffering from ALS, or what has now, of course, become known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's one of the most touching sports moments you'll ever hear. If you have not heard the speech, YouTube's there. Look it up. It's a very cool moment. I've talked in the past about a book that I had growing up as a kid called "And the Crowd Goes Wild," that had audio tracks of big moments throughout U.S. sports history, and Lou Gehrig's speech was one of the things that gets brought up there. It's a tearjerker in a good way. It's a huge, obviously, in Yankees history in particular, it's huge, but just in sports, that's a massive 4th of July moment. I mean, any day, but that was on 4th of July, 1939. Some other fun ones. There have been two pitchers that have hit the 3,000 strikeout milestone on the 4th of July. Nolan Ryan, the MLB all-time strikeout leader, got his 3,000th strikeout on the 4th of July, 1980. He struck out Cesar Geronimo. It was otherwise not a fun game for Nolan Ryan, as he took the loss that day. And then in 1984, Phil Niekro struck out Larry Parrish of the Texas Rangers to get his 3,000th strikeout. Niekro is unique in MLB history as being the only knuckleballer to hit 3,000 strikeouts. Wow, I find that kind of hard to believe, because a knuckleball, nobody has any idea where that pitch is going. Never mind the hitter. Good luck trying to hit on a good windy day, trying to hit a knuckleball. Ugh. Tom Seaver is definitely not a fan of is not a fan of this 4th of July. 4th of July 1972 against the San Diego Padres at Shea Stadium. Tom Seaver took a no-hitter into the 9th inning. He got Dave Roberts for the first out. However, then LeRon Lee got a base hit up the middle. Seaver lost his no-hitter bid. He did, for what it's worth, Seaver did 6 years later finally get a no-hitter, but certainly that had to be a frustrating 4th of July for him. And then one more baseball one. Tim McCarver. We probably remember him as being the color commentator next to Joe Buck for all the Fox games for many, many, many years before he finally retired. Well, McCarver played. He was a player, 2 All-Star appearances, 2 championships. July 4, 1976 is definitely not one of his more favorite moments, however. Bases loaded. McCarver hit a grand slam over the right field wall. However, on his way around the base paths, he passed teammate Gary Maddox. So according to the MLB rulebook, everybody else scored. However, McCarver was called out. It officially went down in the scorebook as a 3-run single. So Tim McCarver, a grand slam, lost it because one of his teammates was just too darn slow. For what it's worth, the Philadelphia Phillies still won the game 10-5. And then in more recent statistics, yesterday you may have seen Joey Chestnut reset the record for National Hot Dog Eating Contest. He wolfed down 76 hot dogs in a span of 10 minutes. Yuck. The hot dog eating contest, that's the one thing that it's like, I watched it one time, it made me sick. I don't need to watch that ever again. Thank you very much. And then some fun, just 4th of July stats. I saw in the chat room favorite foods that got popped up. The 2 that got popped up were hot dogs and barbecue. We represent America here in the chat room here tonight. The 2 most popular foods to eat on the 4th of July, coming in at number 1 is barbecue. Southern style barbecue originated in the Caribbean, came up here into the U.S., became so popular, especially in the South, because you could fix a lot of food all at the same time. Big family gatherings. Southern style barbecue it is. Southern style barbecue is the most popular food to eat, apparently, on the 4th of July. And then right behind that, of course, are hot dogs and other sausages. Bratwurst being my favorite, but hey, I'll take a good hot dog any day of the week. All right, that does it for our show here tonight. Thank you to the Southern California Warriors for, again, continuing to sponsor us here at IE. Thank you to Larry B. of IE for continuing to put in all the work that he does here at the network. Thank you to everybody in the chat, Gina and Andrew and Davidson and Amanda hopped in there. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody. It was a hopping place in there tonight. Davidson was in there, and of course you can hear Taryn. Pierre Moss was in there from New York, and then of course Taryn Rodriguez. You will hear him coming up next, doing Set Point. You want to stick around for that. This guy knows volleyball. I promise you will learn something. Stick around, check it out. Until next week, I am Adam Carney. Thank you so much for listening and being part of the show this week and every week. Be safe, be good, and we'll see you next time.